Alright, patchy beard, gaps in your beard, thinning hair, balding spots, and can be anywhere, not just your beard, probably your head as well. I've struggled with my share of problems, and it took me a long time figuring these things out. So I'm gonna cut it short, make it a fast punch, and let you know exactly how you can tackle it. Now, as I started in my teenagers, as soon as I hit my early 20s, I started losing a lot of hair. Most probably that was because of stress. My father had lost his job, we couldn't continue our education, blah, 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 blah. You know, the whole life hits you hard, blah, blah. I started losing hair a lot, but I was too focused on other things than just my hair. And by the time I realized I'd lost a lot of hair, it was kind of too late. I was smoking like a chimney. At one point at an age, I was smoking 4 packets of Marlboro Reds a day, along with other things. Not a good phase. Yeah, uh, quite down the sewers. But as life changed, I realized, and I changed my diet, I changed my lifestyle, and it helped a lot in slowing down the hair loss process. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I've lost quite a lot of hair. This is a fur. This is not a proper hair. Uh, so what I've learned over years is some natural and some not natural ways to grow beards, and I'm going to share them with you. Now, the first and foremost thing which I saw a huge effect was a decent shampoo. I started we started with Head and Shoulders, and then there was a time there's a clear shampoo called Clear. Um, but I couldn't just simply get rid of my hair, my dandruff. I had to shampoo every day, and then even after shampooing every day, I could not get rid of my dandruff, and I felt like the dandruff was the number one reason why I was losing a lot of hair. So I went to Selsun Blue, and then there's another Selsun, and then there's another brand. With time, I realized that although it would stop the dandruff, but it would not reduce the hair fall, at least not to a satisfactory level I wanted to. And then once I stopped using, and it was very harsh. It was extremely harsh. So the hair would feel brittle, the hair would feel coarse, the smoothness and the shine would literally strip everything off your scalp and your hair. It took me a few years, and I finally found out a shampoo called Vichy or Vichy, however you want to call it. I'll try to put a picture somewhere around here. It's spelled Vichy, and I've been using it ever since. I have not been able to find an alternative to it, any kind of tea tree shampoo or whatever. It's a really good shampoo, especially when it comes. It doesn't contain any sulfates. It doesn't contain any parabens, all those ugly, nasty chemicals you have in your shampoos. Uh, to just give you that smell or that lather, or just as fillers inside the shampoo, just to give you a bottle. It's a really good shampoo for my head hair. Just about a teaspoon, and then I can actually wash my whole face with that if I wanted to. It depends on the volume, obviously. The longer hair you have, the more shampoo you require. But I'm quite satisfied, and I have experimented with other shampoos. I keep trying to learn and add new arsenal to my itinerary. But I, over the years, almost a decade now, I haven't been able to find a better shampoo. Now, coming back to the patchy beard, the gaps. Other than the shampoo, the best effect I found was through minoxidil. Now, everybody knows this brand, and I'm not much into brands unless it's a proprietary item. But this made a huge effect. It didn't help me grow my hair back. It did for certain time, but then it just stopped with the hair growth just stopped. There was no more density, there was no more hair growth after a certain period. And after some extra time, I actually started losing hair again, but not to the same extent, to the same degree, the pace I was losing it earlier on. So 5% for men, minoxidil, monoxidil, whatever, how you pronounce it. And then there's a female version of, I think, yeah, 2% if you're a woman out there. The same thing, just a different percentage concentration, 5% for men and 2 for women. Just recently I started using the foam version. I find this far more better than the spray. I just, and then leave it right there. Some people go all over the head. I would not suggest that, because I've noticed other men, and I've found out that it helps. It gives you wrinkles if you are using it close to you, because it's basically a vasodilator, which means it helps dilate your blood vessels, and there's more blood flow to your head, just like Viagra. Right? So that's why I keep it right here. And then as long as it's entering the bloodstream and the blood vessels are dilating and there's more blood flow in the head, I don't need to apply it exactly on the spot I want it to. So other than that, the reason most men lose hair is because of DHT. It's basically a higher form of testosterone, and that's the reason you have a lot of body hair, a thick beard, and then after a certain age, less hair on your head. So what you can possibly do if you want to stop the hair loss on your head, and I'm a bigger proponent of natural stuff and what you put inside your body rather than on your body. There are certain things you cannot avoid, like dandruff, so you have to apply a shampoo. But as long as your body is your temple, so as long as you're taking good care of your body is going to exude whatever you're putting in it. So what I discovered just recently, past few years, is Propecia. And a lot of men use this. It's actually a drug against cancer for patients with prostate cancer, and doctors recommend around 5 mg of Propecia per day for a cancerous patient recovering from prostate cancer. But it has a serendipitous effect on balding men, because Propecia is Finistrate, actually, that's a chemical name. Propecia is a brand name. Is a natural DHT blocker, so it helps stop converting testosterone, free testosterone, to DHT, dihydroxy testosterone, the more potent form, right? So what I do is I buy around 5 mg, because an mg is much more higher in price, and I get around 5 mg leaflet, and then I chop it down with a splitter in 1 mg, and then I start having them. And I found an immediate effect with this, the best effect ever I found with this. But I stopped, and the reason I stopped is because my sex drive went really down. I wouldn't say plummeted, but got halved. I started gaining body fat naturally. I would eat less. Nothing had changed in my diet, but I was gaining body fat. I was losing strength. So the potent form of testosterone being reduced had an effect on my masculinity. Nothing that I would be worried about, but I just didn't want to, so felt bad, diet a little longer, blah blah blah. So long story short, now there's a natural method I recently found out, and as I said, I'm more into natural than artificial, and that would be this thing right here, a rosemary oil. A rosemary oil has a lot of benefits. It's not just what I'm talking right now, right here, for beards or hair. It can help you relieve with inflammation. It can help relieve with headaches. It basically, if anyone of you remembers Vicks Vapor Up, it smells just like Vicks, uh, like Vicks Vapor Up. So what you do and it's a very thin oil. Its viscosity is not as thick as other oils. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? It's almost like water. So what I do is in conjunction to my Rogaine or minoxidil, I just add it to my head, and you see that it just flows over, and then rub it in my head, and then immediately I can feel that it's a cold oil. It's that about two kinds of oil. There's a cold oil and a warm oil. Like a pepper oil is a warm oil, you can feel the burning sensation, and this I feel like it's a cold oil because it gives you that minty cold feeling, that relief, and then just rub it in there. So what does this do? This is exactly like this helps control the conversion from free testosterone to DHT. And scientifically, just recently, there's a few articles out there which suggest that it's actually as good as minoxidil, Rogaine, if you remember. So I would not completely leave everything out if you're serious about your hair growth and your density and volume. A combination, like if you're fasting, so, and then after that you have a hearty meal, it's going to be counterintuitive, right? But if you're fasting and you have a keto diet, like when you break your fast, you have something which is low calorie, high fat, high protein. So now you have double effect. You lose far more weight in a shorter amount of time in a healthier way. So what I'm saying is, don't just depend on one thing. No, don't just depend on one shampoo or minoxidil or Finistrade. Use in a combination, and these things initially they might look a little excessive or overwhelming, but it depends on your case. If you're going to be losing, say, 10 to 15, and everybody loses hair, right? It's just the most important thing is, as long as you're losing the hair and regaining it at the same time, you're not going to have any issues. But if you're just going to be losing hair and not your hair is not being replaced as frequently, you need to do something about it. That could be a good shampoo, or maybe Finistrade at certain time. You don't need to start using it at a very young age if you're in your teens, but then when you're further down the line, you might Finistrade by itself or minoxidil by itself is not going to help. You need to diet, you need proper what you put in your body, you need to exercise. So a combination of things. So, and I'm going to go ahead further down and explain to you a few more things I do. Now, aloe vera again is a really, really good thing. You can be using it topically by putting it on your hair, on your scalp, in your beard. I prefer drinking it, putting it in my body so that my body exudes it, puts it out. And then again, another thing, biotin. This thing again, because the thing is, when you put something inside your body, you don't have an immediate effect, especially when it comes to things like nutrition. Is because your hair builds slowly, it grows. So when you have something, and your hair grows at a very small pace, a few centimeters in a short period of time, a month, I think, a centimeter a month, and each person again is different, genetics, blah blah blah. So by the time you start having this and you see the first centimeters in the first month, you would realize how well this is working. So if you have, say, 3 centimeters of hair on your head, by the time you see the full effects of something which you have taken orally inside, have consumed, it's going to be 3 months, because that 3 centimeters is going to take 3 months to grow. So your previous hair has to be cut off, and then everything after that is going to be what you have consumed. So my combination right now, there are other things I do as well, but this is my combination right now, is minoxidil twice daily. And then somebody who's going to be using minoxidil for the first time, beware, you're going to be losing hair immediately when you start using minoxidil. It's going to freak you out and probably make you stop using it. The only way through is through. So just remember, it's just a phase. After a week to 2 weeks, you're going to be over it. All right, you're going to be over it. It's going to be fine, don't worry. So once that is over, the second thing is the DHT blocker. You can be using any kind of DHT blocker, as long as, and you have to be a guy. I would not suggest fenestrate for women at all. uh, DHT blocker through fenestrate, Propecia, the brand name, or as long as a chemical, a good reputed company is fine. As long as it's fenestrate, and then if you're into natural, rosemary oil, you can combine rosemary oil with something else like a castor oil as a base oil and add rosemary oil to it, or you could use avocado oil as a base oil and add rosemary oil to it, and then apply it topically onto your scalp or your beard. Remember, this is a beard channel. So these things are what I've just discussed, goes for both the hair on your head and your beard, your stache included. So I'm going to go further down in my other videos on details how to use natural oils in combination with a base oil and a secondary oil mixed together and applied topically, and the results you're going to achieve from there. But rosemary oil combined with an avocado oil, especially with the castor oil, is going to give you really good results. Obviously it's going to take a little time because it's a natural process, so it's going to be a few months before you see some real results. You should be starting to see a result within a month's time, but for a serious real results, because initially there'll be baby hair shooting out and it'll be thin, flimsy, and then by the time it becomes voluminous, the density and all that, it's going to be a few months. And so it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, so hang in there. This is my current, and then make sure your scalp is clean. You don't need to shampoo every day, especially never use a shampoo with a sulfate or a paraben. Sulfate is something which lathers up really well. It gives you that fluffy, foamy shampoo, but it's going to strip your hair off, and it's going to make it dry and brittle, and it's going to lose its volume, its shine, its gloss, and just stay away from that. Pay that extra buck, but get a good shampoo every third day to fourth day. Twice weekly is fine, I guess, for most people. You need to find out, because everybody's again different. If you have a normal hair, maybe once a month is fine, once a week is fine. But if you have oily hair, oily skin like me, twice a week is fine as well. And then it depends on your diet as well, because when I have a lot of sugars, the oil just, I feel like I'm a sheikh. The oil wells just start pouring. So if you can control your diet, you can control how your skin is. It will change the amount of shampooing you require. Basically, diet and exercise is going to be the first and foremost thing which is going to have the biggest effect on your overall well-being. Not just your hair, your beard, your skin, your presence, your energy levels, everything. And then these things are a support system. So if you're having fast foods, high caloric diets, bad sleeping patterns, emotional stress, work stress, mental stress, all that ugly, nasty stuff, these things will still help, but you need to focus on your temple, that is your body, and then let these things help you. You could have a beautiful beard, you could be a handsome man, but if there is negativity in your tone and you're down and depressed, people might be attracted initially to you because of whatever, the way you dress, or the car you drive, or the way you walk in a room and announce your presence. But the moment you open your mouth and all that negativity flows out, they're gonna run the other way. So focus on yourself and grow a beautiful beard. Let everybody know you're there. Not just you, everyone deserves a better you.